think to myself, what a wonderful world. So welcome, everybody. I'm so excited tonight. My group knows fitness is my jam. I tend to do more fitness challenges than anything because it's probably bar none, I think, one of the greatest things you can do for yourself, for self-love, for self-care, for self-esteem, for self-confidence, for anything, like, right? This is like the bomb. So I am delighted to have, I keep calling you Miss Valencia because that just feels like the right,
that sounds good.
But I'm like, I am delighted to have Miss Valencia here, and she is going to talk with us tonight about building confidence through fitness. And so I am delighted to have you here tonight. I'm so excited.
I'm happy to be here.
Yes. So why don't you tell us first a little bit about who you are and, where you are and so forth, and how you came to be a fitness coach.
Okay. Wow. So, I am based here in Michigan, like outside of Detroit area. And I have been in the fitness industry or fitness world for at least about 11 years. Mm-hmm. So taking it way back, my undergrad degree, I have a bachelor's of science in kinesiology.
Oh, wow. Okay, great.
And I didn't really use it for years. I mean, I've always been into fitness, always worked out, but didn't really do too much with it. I became a group fitness instructor back in 2011, about a year after I had my first kid. Mm-hmm. And just kept going from there. I taught fitness classes. I decided to get my personal training in probably 2020. Oh, wow. And also getting my my nutrition certification, which I need to take the test within any day now. So I'll be nutrition coach certified also.
Awesome. Yeah. So secretly, well kept secret, I covet a group fitness or Zumba certification. Now,
you should do it because I have a Zumba cert also.
The Zumba certification is on my goals for this year.
Yes.
So, well, maybe one day I'll do group fitness at some point or another.
Yes.
Zumba, because I love it. I record the songs and do all the stuff in there. But
yes.
We'll see. Well, I'm committed to manifesting that. I don't actually want to teach though. Like
a lot of people I know have just gotten the certification.
Yes. Yeah.
Just to have it because they love it so much.
Yep.
That's if you ever want to teach, if you were local, I would make you come up and do a song or two. Well, I'd be like, I figured, come up here.
Maybe I could just be somebody's sub or something and do a song in a class. But I don't like, I'm like, I don't think I want to have my own thing, but it feels like a fun thing to do. And I just like
it is fun.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about how you got into fitness. Like what actually inspired you from the beginning? So you went into kinesiology. So you must have been inspired from a much younger age. Like what actually inspired you there? And then what had you get into the group fitness?
Yeah. And I feel like it's like, of course, it's like this whole, it's evolved over time. So oddly enough, my grandma and I'm taking it way back. We used to do Jane Fonda. We had the album.
No shame, I'm with you. I posted an article today on Jazzercise and I was like, don't judge me.
And we used to do Jane Fonda together. And funny, my grandma would come to my fitness classes, the one she could come to. Mm-hmm. So it kind of probably started back then. Like I played tennis in high school and just always just had a love of fitness. So yeah, I knew I wanted to get my degree in it. And fast forward to becoming a mom and of course, a first time mom, being pregnant, wanting to lose the weight, and just wanted to share my love of fitness with other women is really where it just kind of went from. I just wanted to share my love of fitness with other women. And yeah, it just felt like a natural thing. And I've had people tell me when I get in front of a group or in front of a class, they're like, oh my gosh, you just light up. Cause it's a passion. I just love it. And I know that especially as a mom, a lot of us think we don't have time for fitness or, we don't, there's nothing fun we want to do or we don't have time for it. And that's just not true. It's just, I like to teach women that you can make time for it, you can make it fun. And it just helps you feel all around good about yourself, which is what, as a mom during that whole season of having kids, you can, speaking from experience, you just kind of lose yourself. You just
do.
It's
become
it's a tough.
absorbed in motherhood. And I think for a lot of women here, it's the getting, first time mom, especially. There's some joke like years ago, it's like your first time mother, pacifier falls on the floor, you sterilize it. And you get it to it. Second time mom, pacifier falls on the floor, you rinse it underwater, you give it to the kid. Third time mom, pacifier falls on the floor, you just brush it off, you give it to your kid. Fourth time mom, you just take it out of the dog's mouth, you put it in their mouth, you just call
it. It is so true. Like my first, I have 3 kids, and my oldest, and even to this day, he's still like very structured and regimented because I had him like on a nap schedule, on a playtime schedule, on a this. And my third one falls asleep on the floor, just like anywhere. Like he just is like, I don't know. So yes, it is so true. By the time I got to the third one, I'm like, whatever. I don't just, are you alive? You're okay.
Right. Now you bring up a really interesting point, because every woman on here is like, I'm a mom, I don't have time. And you're a mom of 3. So like the fact that you're an instructor and you've found a way to kind of carve out this time to get your trainings, your certification, and to teach is like a really big deal. I know for myself, I struggled with this one, and I found time. And as a coach, I tell people, anything you want bad enough, you will find time for it.
So true.
But how did you like get your mind around that? Because I know as a mom, and I have 1 kid, so the people say, yeah, but you only have 1 kid, right?
Yeah.
So then I go, all right, well, but you're a mom of 3. How do you like find that few minutes to like get it in?
I think the big thing is to set, which I work with a lot of my clients on this, is to set realistic goals. Because sometimes as women, like say we've gained this weight, we want to lose it now. And so we'll set up, we'll be like, okay, I haven't worked out in 2 years, so I'm gonna go to the gym every day, an hour a day for 6 days a week. That's too much. It's not gonna you're guilty. It's not gonna happen like that. So I work with people like, from starting where you are, if you just decide initially 2 days a week, I'm gonna go for 30-minute walks, set up that win for yourself. Like don't go like balls to the wall super hard initially, because it's just not going to work. And I do, a lot of my clients, I teach them to do like at home workouts, because sometimes, it's hard to get to the gym. I mean, of course we had COVID, and of course gyms were shut down. So a lot of people kind of have equipment, but even with minimal equipment, you can still get a good workout. And I teach people 30 minutes. Like people think because I'm a coach, because I'm a trainer, that like I'm working out for hours. And I'm like, no, like I believe in the 30 minutes. Like you can get, folks for that 30 minutes, but you can get in a good workout in 30 minutes. So I think just setting a realistic goal with your time, if you're not a morning person, don't set yourself up and say, I'm going to get up 5 mornings a week. No, you're not. Maybe just 1 morning a week on a Wednesday, and maybe a Saturday afternoon.
Right.
Once you get that going, let's add another day in. That feels good. Let's add in some weights. It's like, you just kind of have to like baby step it. Like we're not going to go all in right away, because that's a way that we get burnt. We do that cycle. Like we go hard, we do it for a week, we fall off, we say, forget it, we eat ice cream, we're back starting over again. And it's, it's like, it's just, like we think we know what we need to do, but again, we psych ourselves out and we're like, I'm so busy, I have all this weight to lose, I don't feel good about myself, and I know what I need to do, but it's hard to wrap your brain around it. And so I was just like, let's just start with the basics. Like, and if you have little kids, maybe you don't have somebody to watch your kids, you can involve your kids. Like if it's just a walk, go for a walk with the kids. Ideally, I like to work out without my kids, but if it's, if you gotta do what you gotta do, involve the kids, go for a walk with them, go to the park. And while they're playing, you run around, do some squats. Like there's always a way. And I think getting outside the box of thinking you have to be in a gym doing like an hour on the treadmill. Like the world is your gym, like my daughter had soccer practice the other day, and I had a busy day. I didn't teach classes. I didn't work out in the morning, and it was like 6 o'clock. And I'm like, okay, she's at practice for an hour. So I walked, I ran, and then I did some abs in the grass, and that was my workout that day. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't perfect, but it was like 30 minutes. I got my heart rate up. I felt good about it. And I think just getting out of the box helps too. Like just move for 30 minutes, whatever you like to say. You like to dance, put on some music and
Dance for
just
30 minutes.
dance. It doesn't have to be like a structured thing, especially when you're just getting started, like just move and get in the habit.
You meant like what you just said was so rich. So the first thing was, I am definitely, when I first started my journey, I was like, I'm going to crush this and do what, because that's how I am. Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one thing you said, don't go balls to the wall. First of all, women, ladies, we don't have balls. So let's just get that out of the way right now. Right.
Yeah.
No, and I say that it's meaningful. One of the other things I teach is about being in your feminine essence. Trust your intuition. If today is a 10-minute workout day, do the 10 minutes and trust that. Crush it for 10 minutes, or maybe it's a 10-minute stretch. It's not even a crush it like your body's tired. Trust your feminine energetic. We do not have to push like men do. We can actually receive what would be nurturing and loving and feel good to my body. And the other thing is, you said, like, get out of the box. It doesn't have to be perfect. So if it's a 10-minute video and a 20-minute walk, or 10 minutes of dancing with the kids,
right,
or just carrying your baby, if you have young babies, you get that papoose, that's like what, 10 pounds or whatever.
Do some squats with
12
the kids.
pounds. You're carrying that around. Walking your pet is another one, another good one. It can look anyway. Some days my workouts are what I call, these are my rest days. I do like a 10-minute or 20-minute stretch sequence, and then I walk somewhere. And I don't walk at like a I just barely break a sweat. That's a rest day, but I was moving for 30 minutes. Right. So you're right. Like, get outside of the box and like trust yourself. What does my body need today? And it doesn't always need a 45-minute CrossFit supervised by a trainer going, give me 20 out. That's not everybody's jam.
It can increase your stress level too. And then if you're feeling, I tell people, like, if you're gonna miss sleep for a workout, like, I'd rather you get that extra half hour sleep, eat something decent, and then you can break up your work. If you can't get in 30 minutes all together, 15 minutes here, 10 minutes there, like, that helps. But it's like, there's also the nutrition piece, which is important, but it's like fitness and your overall wellness, like you said, is just, there's like the sleep portion. Like, you need to make sure you're getting enough rest. You need to make sure you're drinking water, like we talked about, and your nutrition. So it is, listening to your body is, I think that's something I've learned as I've gotten older, that you don't have to always push, some days you do, like you said, some days you do want to go for that run and feel good. Other days you're like, I just want to go for a walk with the podcast and have some quiet time. And that's okay.
And that's okay too. You're still moving, you're still being active, you're still elevating your heart rate, you're still loosening your joints and all of that other stuff.
Right.
Which is all really good for you. You mentioned something too that I really want to grab hold of too, and I am guilty. Ladies, it's nothing you've done that I probably haven't done. Like, so I don't want anybody to feel guilty, because part of the well-being journey is learning what works and what doesn't work.
Oh man,
right?
So true.
Yeah. So my first journey, I was really like very driven. The second journey, I've had multiple journeys. I had a lot of injuries, so I couldn't be. And I actually started one day a week, and I took a Polynesian fitness class called Hot Hula. And it was great, but it was low impact. It was that class is a hard class. It really works you from like all the problem areas, from like your waist to your knees, because it's the way it is. It's all hula and all that type of stuff. But I did it once a week for like 6 weeks, but I changed my diet. And so just the two of those had an impact. The other piece too you mentioned was sleep. And I really want to hang with you. Everybody knows you need to, we'll come back to diet because that's a big one.
Right.
But sleep is really huge. And especially if you have young children, if you're a career woman, people have careers, side hustles, and kids, careers, side hustles. Some of these ladies, many of people here are going through divorce or breakup, or in this past 2 years, it's been just hell for a lot of people. We've lost jobs, we've lost relationships. Our children were supposed to go away. They didn't go away. So now you're, space that you thought you would have, you don't have, you're now working. Some people are still working remotely, trying to expand. There's a lot going on in our lives. Sleep is a big deal. And that's one in the group, one of my top, I'm doing this 21 day I've been sharing with everybody. And one of the ones is get at least 7 hours of sleep.
Yes.
And I miss it like multiple times a week. If you're looking at my checks and minuses, I miss it. It's one of the places that I really struggle with.
Yeah.
So let's talk about like sleep, like why is it so important, and rest, and what's the dealio with sleep, and and how can we like get past that, because that's a big one.
Yeah, and I love that, because same thing. I have a group program right now. It's called Reclaim, and it's like reclaiming your confidence through fitness.
Oh, awesome! I love that name.
And our topic this week is sleep and stress, because when you are stressed, there's this hormone in our body called cortisol, and when you have more cortisol in your body, you just hold on to weight more. It's hard to lose weight when you have the stress and you have the cortisol. And yeah, the sleep, because we'll pull from that sleep. We'll say, oh, I'll, go to bed later because I need that time, or I'll wake up earlier because I need that time. And I get it. And, sometimes it is hard to stretch for that 7. So our goal in the group this week, I said, okay, if you can't get to the 7 where you are now, just try and push for 30 minutes, an hour more. Because a lot of times, and again, like you said, I'm guilty. I'll say, okay, I'm about to get in bed. I get in bed with that phone. And what am I looking? I'm looking at Reels, looking at TikTok. This is a waste of my life.
It's a waste of time.
I could have gotten an extra half-hour sleep had I not been looking at stupid. And it's like that blue light affects your sleep too.
Exactly. Then you can't fall asleep as fast. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, you got in the bed on time, but you wasted another 45 minutes. So it's like, the sleep is so important. And I mean, you think about how you feel after you've had that good night's rest. You feel like mentally you feel better.
And day.
You're nicer to your children, maybe to your partner, whatever, nicer at work.
Yep.
It just is so, and yeah, it's not going to happen every night, but it's good to shoot for it, because we think we're doing ourselves a service by getting 4.5, 5 hours of sleep, either to get up and do this or go do that. No, you're not. You're not doing
I can go 2 nights, which I have, because I've been tracking it. So I'm wearing my Fitbit. So I'm very conscious of my sleep, and it's a gap for me. And I'm telling you, like, it's a struggle, like, and I really do. I notice I get more of it on the weekends, which of course that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I have a Zumba class on Saturdays at 9. I cannot tell you 2 things I notice. If I eat really good and cut my eating off at 9, and I get a good solid 7 hours, I crush that class the next day.
There you go.
If either one of those things is out of whack, I didn't go to bed till after midnight, or I ate a lot of crappy, it was my cheat night, so it was okay for me to have French fries and fried chicken or whatever I tell myself, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then I try to get up the next morning. I can literally feel the sluggishness.
Yes.
It feels like sludge just running through my vein. And it doesn't even matter if I do a pre-workout, and I hydrate up before, because that always helps. I can just feel it. It takes like 20 minutes for my body to even like get things moving, and I'm feeling like, okay, and things aren't hurting. It just takes so long, because I'm just, honestly, I'm tired. And I ate the wrong food. So I don't have the right nutrition to fuel me. And I'm physically, like, I'm sleepy. It's like taking me forever.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, like, maybe I should have more caffeine. I'm really
yes. And even trying to keep your sleep schedule or your sleep pattern the same. So like, if my bedtime, I mean, this again won't be all the time. If my bedtime during the week is 11:30, then I'm keeping it the same on the weekend.
Yeah.
And if I naturally wake up at like 7:30 or whatever, then I'm going to do the same on the weekend. Like, I'm not going to try and like go to bed at 2 and sleep into like 10. Like, it doesn't. And for one, I can't even sleep in anyway. So my body is like, we don't care what time you're going to bed. You're 7 a.m. Hello.
You're waking up. Right.
And
I've read that you can't make up sleep. Like, mentally we go, oh, I'll just sleep an extra 2-3 hours on the weekend. Biologically, I understand we're not actually wired that way. Like, there's not a translation of, oh, you make it up. It's just missed. Your rhythms are now off, and it's just missed time.
Yeah. And just set up those like wind down routines. Like I said, putting that phone away. Like, when you get in bed, do not grab that phone and start looking at them reels and those TikToks because they pull you in. I mean, they're funny. I get it. They pull you in. So don't do it. Or even like, if, maybe not drinking at night, or maybe it's, like I said, cutting off your food. Or if you do have a snack at night, it's something healthy that isn't going to make you like have indigestion or weigh you down. Or maybe it's you journal at the end of the night, whatever it is to kind of like wind it down, dim the lights, light a candle. We talked about different things in the group that we could do to just kind of, because I'm big on routine. I'm organized. Like I have like a wake up routine, and then it's like you need the same to kind of wind down your night.
I was actually thinking about that too, and I've done a couple of talks and lives on like what's your morning routine and what's your evening routine, because they're critical for you to set it up. And for sleep routines, I just heard one on for parents of kids that have ADHD. I thought this was brilliant. Nobody told me my daughter has ADHD, but nobody told me about this routine. And I'm thinking about using it for myself. I just think it's a brilliant routine. They have like, I guess they're like Christmas lights or holiday white lights around their like patio door. And so when those lights come on, the kids know, okay, you've got like so many more minutes, like it's time to wind down. So they see the lights and then they start, because they say what happens is it sends the body into fight or flight, because all of a sudden the parents are going, it's time to go to bed now. Like there's an urgency and their brain can't process it. But I think I do that to myself. I go, oh, it's 10:30. Let me hurry up and wind this stuff down. And I send myself into panic. Well, that energy doesn't lend itself to me winding down and going to bed. Now I'm trying to hurry up, get in bed and do my last things. And I'm on my phone, if not doing the TikTok or the reels. I'm sending those last 5, 10, that's not good either, text messages, so I don't have to deal with it.
It's stimulating your brain.
It's in my brain. So I have this like the first thing I do is a sense of urgency. I've got to do everything now, which doesn't let me wind down. So they have the lights come on in I guess the common room, their TV room or the family room. Then they go into their bedroom and then they get to read, and then the light dims down like to a soft light. They can still do stuff, and then it dims to like a purple, and then it goes out. And when it's out, they're done. But they said for them, it's training the brain to wind down gradually. It doesn't put them in a sense of urgency, like you got to do it and you got to do it right now, or there's something wrong. And I thought I have those lights too. Those lights are brilliant and wonderful. And I was like, I never thought to use my lights like that. Now I do use them to wake up. There is a sunrise mode. Oh, that's nice. And I have it set to sunrise for an hour, and it gradually, like it starts an orangish red and it kind of rises until it turns like a lighter color. And I prefer to wake up that way than to the beep, beep, beep.
Oh yeah, no.
That's
no.
So obnoxious.
That's like that old school alarm clock that just had like the red numbers.
No, I can't stand that. That's rude. That's a rude way to.
I know, you wake up like this.
I know, like panicked. You have
in all days, like your heart's like racing as your first thing.
And you start, you do wake up startled. So but it's interesting that I think to use it to wake, but I never thought to use it to go to sleep. And I was like, well, what a great idea to do that.
Yeah.
You mentioned something else, cortisol, and I just kind of touched on it. When you have this sense of urgency around it, that's your fight or flight, your sympathetic nervous system, which then is getting you into cortisol. Can you share more about that? It feels counterintuitive. If you're not getting enough sleep, don't you just constantly stay in that deprivation state?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like, and I mean, yes, I mean, cortisol can be, like I said, from stress, from lack of sleep. You can counter it with like exercise and with diet, but it is like really, it is triggered by stress. And honestly, when you do have that lack of sleep, the stress is easier to come on because you get irritated easier. Like I know how I feel when I'm tired. The littlest thing, I'm like, I'm snapping, and I know I'm like, I'm just tired. Kind of like a baby, how they get when they're like, it's like an adult. It's the same
hungry?
Kind of like,
we use the whole acronym. Are you hungry? Are you angry? Are you tired? Are you lonely?
Yeah.
It occurs to me that sleep, if you're already tired, you're already compromised. So then if you add any demands on top of that, now you're in stress mode. And then as soon as you go into stress mode, cortisol is being released, and you have just kind of undone any magic that you might have created in your diet or in your exercise routine, because now it's all this releasing and you're like still tired, still hungry.
And you have to go back to those like the basic building blocks when you are trying to lose weight. Because a lot of the women that come to me are not, I mean, yeah, they're not getting enough rest, they're not eating right. And honestly, they're probably not exercising. So it's like, let's start at like the most basic level. Because I guess, again, it's no point when you're already, like I said, in this fight or flight to push you into more of this flight with a hardcore workout program. Like that's not, it's not going to help. So we just need to kind of start with the basics. And I know sometimes people probably think all she had me do was walk twice a week, but like I want to get people there. And I believe in weight loss as a gradual thing. Like I'm not, you know, I've had people maybe not want to work with me because I'm not going to tell you to cut out sugar or dairy, this, that. I'm not, that's not life. I mean, and most of the women I work with are like 30s, 40s, maybe even 50s. Like we're doing this because we want to feel good. I mean, yes, we want to look good, but it's not, we're not trying to crash diet for like spring break. You know, we want to be able to like play with our kids or like look, you know, look good when we're at the pool with our, look good when we're at the pool with our kids or with, you know, out on a date. Like to me, the ultimate is when you can walk in your closet and just wear whatever. You know how like maybe you got to run out and you stand in that closet and you're like, okay, that don't fit. That doesn't fit. Like when you feel good about yourself, you can just grab whatever. Like I can wear this, I can wear that. And to me, that's like the ultimate of confidence. And that again, just comes with like, you gotta just start with the basics. You do. You're like reteaching yourself the whole process.
So tell me, what are the basics? And I think most people know, but it bears repeating. Let me step back. I'm assuming most people know. But to your point, I know a lot of people, and in myself in certain cases, I will back burner certain things thinking it doesn't matter. But it does matter, and I need to be reminded. And so the more things I see about sleep, I'm reminded you've got to reprioritize this because you're really good at a lot of things. That's not one of them. And you have it has to stay top of mind. So what are the basics so we can like keep them top of mind?
Yeah. So, you know, I like to start people with, 30 minutes of movement is a good place to start. Also being in a calorie deficit, which can be calculated. Like there's of course a certain amount of calories that our bodies will burn every day if we do nothing. Like say that number is 2,000. It's just an arbitrary number. Say your number is 2,000 if you do nothing. So you want to be in a deficit, meaning you want to eat less than that 2,000. Not like 500 calories less. Usually I start people off with 300 calories.
Not like less. Starvation deficit.
No, and the deficit can be something little. You don't realize how the little ways calories sneak in until you start tracking food. Like you're like, like the mindless snacking. And I know when I mindless snack, I'm like, a handful of these pretzels, there's these pretzels that I love right now. A handful of them is like 150 calories. Boom. If I got rid of those, that's a deficit.
Exactly.
Less cream or sugar in your coffee. It's not like we're skipping lunch or we're only going to do shakes for meals. It's the little bits. And it's like those little bits create a calorie deficit. So 30 minutes of movement, calorie deficit. And with that calorie deficit, I like people just to focus on really focusing meals around protein and like veggies. This does not mean cut out carbs because I don't believe in that. I think you need to, and carbs are everywhere. People say they don't eat carbs, so you never had a banana. You're not eating.
I was about to say that I eat fruit. So, and I actually try to replace processed carbs with more natural ones. Whole grains, fruits and whatever stuff like that. That's my journey because I'm a sweet tooth girl. I love me a good cookie.
That's sugar. I know that's sugar. I've been on a salty thing. Like I don't know. My kids have all these chips in the house, and now I have the kind that I like, and I'm like, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. But
guys,
that's been my advice.
My daughter's a salty person, and she eats her salt of choice is Tostitos. Now, if she were not here, I would neither buy Tostitos nor would I eat them. But they're here because she's here, so I eat them. And I'm always like, so now we have here. You got to keep them in the cabinet because if I don't see them, I don't eat them.
The salt has been my thing lately, but it's like 30 minutes of movement. Calorie deficit, of course, which includes kind of focusing on protein and veggies. And honestly, getting that strength training in, it isn't all about the cardio.
Yeah.
Because people think, I've had people tell me, oh, well, I need to lose 20 pounds before I do strength training. No, you do not. You
Yeah.
do not need to lose 20 pounds. You need to strength train and do the cardio. Cardio is not a necessary thing. Like, yes, if you know, like your Zumba, or like maybe you like to run, or you like to ride your bike, yes, do it. But I'm not going to tell someone do cardio 5 days a week, because the strength training is so important, because it helps to increase your lean muscle mass, which helps you burn more calories again at rest.
Yes.
And also getting in like the non-exercise movement, like, you know, we talked about our Fitbits, like getting in that step count. You don't have to always get the 10,000. Again, if you're coming to me and you're starting at 5,000 steps a day, we're not going to push you up to 10,000. Let's kind of try and let's maybe get up to 7,000. Because again, a lot of, you figure there's 24 hours in your day.
Right.
You should be sleeping. We're saying about 7
to 8.
would be
Yeah.
amazing. I don't know the last time I got 8 hours of sleep. I will not lie.
If I did get it, it was on the weekend. I'm telling you that right now. It was not during the weekend.
So, you know, you got 7 of those hours, or 7 to 8 of those. That's like a third of your day you're sleeping. You figure if you work out, maybe even if you work out an hour a day, that's a small part of your day. A lot of your calorie burn is the movement you do throughout the day. It's the walking, you know, you go for a walk, or you're walking around your house. It's that movement that's a lot of your calories. So it's important. Like sometimes, because some people say, oh, I work out every day. But if you work out for 30 minutes and then you sit the rest of the day working at your desk, or you're just sedentary, it's kind of defeating the purpose. So, you know, it's getting those steps in. And again, it doesn't have to be 10,000. If you're coming to me with 5,000, let's bump you up, you know, a little bit. Or if you're at 10,000, maybe you can increase it a little more. It's all where you start from. So 30 minutes of movement, calorie deficit, including those proteins and veggies, and getting in that non-exercise movement are kind of the basics I like to work with my clients.
Those are really good. You really, so insight on my own fitness journey. I am sedentary because I sit at a computer all the time. So I even have a little standing desk, but I've actually scheduled wellness walks. I have to make myself get up, and they're not long. They're circle the block, come back in. And
it is. Yeah, it's not anything big, but it's like if you just mentally say, okay, I'm gonna get in, and you know, your Fitbit or Apple Watch will let you know, hey, it's time to move.
Yep.
You know, but even like you say, I'm going to get in 500 extra steps this time. Like you just, I mean, yeah, there's been times I've stopped work, same thing. I just, especially in the winter, because I know in Michigan it gets cold, I'll just walk around in my house, in my condo. It's boring, but I'm like,
I do the same thing. I walk the halls in my complex. But I have a couple, there's a gym downstairs, so I can go and get on the treadmill. But the point for me is just creating that little 15-minute window because I'm so sedentary. So I do work out every day, and I work out not just for what I actually like it. Like I'm one of those people that I've always liked it. I've liked it since I was a kid. So I'm always looking for new things to do. I do Zumba because it's my exercise per se of choice.
That's so fun.
It's my thing. That's my jam, right? But recently, because like I said, I've had injuries, I've like, you must find a way to add strength training. And I don't know, as I always say, when you become a person of a certain level of experience, your body doesn't handle certain exercises the same way it used to. So I've been in the inquiry of what does my body want to do for strength training? And there's lots of other choices besides dumbbells. I really like dumbbells. And so it's been really hard for me to be like, I can't do them at all. And my mind, to your earlier point, has to go, well, let's start thinking outside of the box. You're telling yourself, because you can't do it the way you like to do it, the way you think you like, that there's no other way to do it. And so I've really had to your point, like figure out like, what about Pilates? What about yoga? What about, there's all kinds of stuff that I have a couple different apps, and I'm just like, well, give this a shot and see what it's like and if you like it. And so it's an experiment. I don't, I can do, I'm up to 2 pounds. I'm so proud of myself.
Yes.
But for me, because I have serious injuries in my neck, 2 pounds, I can remember when I couldn't lift any, like none. So I'm proud of
And you
people.
should
Like when
be.
she's saying incremental, like, you mean, I cannot
Yes.
tell you how proud of I'm so proud of my 2 pounds that my thought was today, you ought to try 3. And then my mind went, let's do another 2 weeks at the 2
Yes.
before you,
It is your, and that's so
I'm
important.
ready to go for it, but
It's your
you'll pay
journey.
the price for that. And injuries cost you more in recovery
Yeah.
time than
Yes.
people give credit for. So
People can start with body weight. I mean, you can start with just,
that's how I started. Yep.
you know, body weight squats, you know, push-ups, like, you know, if you can't get down on the floor, push-ups against a wall. I mean, there's,
Yeah, I'm not quite at the push-up level, but I am doing them on the wall, which is
yes,
great. You just keep
that's
getting
a start
lower
though.
and lower and lower.
That's building your strength.
Even arm workouts with no weights. So your arms actually have weight to them. If I
Yes.
do a couple of these, you know, and you're twisting a couple of times, you do like 3 or 4 of them. I'm telling you, by the time you get to a set of 10, your arms are like, you are feeling it. So it's really, again, getting back to your thinking outside of the box. Exercise doesn't have to be done in any particular way.
Exactly.
It's just thinking of, well, what fits my body, you know.
Yes.
This
And like you said, as we get more experienced, that's such an important piece, because it's like, it's not one size fits all.
No.
And it's what feels good to me. I mean, a couple of years ago during COVID, I was running a lot. Like I was running a lot. I was running fast. I was like, what is going on? 2 years later, I don't really feel like running that much anymore.
And I started off COVID doing the same thing. And 2 years later, I would love to run. My knees are like, I don't think so.
Like, no, thank you, ma'am.
Right now. My knees are
and
like,
that's
no,
okay.
we're not
It's
interested
like,
in that right now. So yeah, you kind of have to, and this gets back to you ladies, trust your bodies.
it's so true.
And just really be into, and part of that facilitates you building trust in yourself. And when you can trust yourself, it translates into broader confidence.
Into everything. So much so.
So how has that helped your clients? Like, how have you seen your clients go from like sort of leaning into listening to everybody, or leaning in listening to nobody because they don't trust anybody, they don't least of all trust themselves, and then kind of evolving into a woman that's like, yeah, I do this because this is what feels good, and I know myself and I trust myself. How have you seen that show up?
It's just been good to see a lot of clients, like you said, gain that confidence and learning to trust the process, and seeing like, okay, I started out slowly and, you know, easing into this process, but I've seen the results of like the weight coming off, or me being more intentional with, you know, maybe they started and they're like, I wasn't working out at all, and now here it is 3 months later and I'm more intentional, and I think I should get up and walk, you know, every hour, or I should, you know, drink more water, or I should make a choice of eating these veggies again. Cause I don't ever tell anybody, you know, like I eat pizza all the time. Like I love pizza, but I also try and make those choices of, you know, let's eat more veggies. Let's do this. Like, you know, it's just nice to see people just, again, trusting the process and seeing that, you know, getting those small wins along the way, they can still get the results. Like you do not have to starve yourself. Yes. Especially in your 30s, 40s, maybe 50s. That just is, it's counterintuitive. And again, weight loss is different as we age. It's just different. Our needs of our body. I mean, sometimes, you know, some people are starting in their menopause, and so our needs are different. Our needs are different. And we do, like, so we have to honor our body. I mean, even like I said, with the eating, with the sleep, it's like the overall wellness. And I think, which is honestly why I think I like my 40s so much, because in my 30s it was like I was lost, you know, I was lost in motherhood. I was worried about just worried about everyone else and what everyone else thought. You get your 40s and you're like, I'm just doing me, and like I'm gonna do what feels good for me. Like this walk feels good today, great. Me sleeping an extra hour a day feels great. Maybe today, like, even so, again, I feel so in tune with my body. Today, I taught a kickboxing class.
Oh, awesome. I love those.
When I teach kickboxing, I find that my body wants more carbs because I have expended a lot of energy. And I feel okay with that. I mean, I ate good carbs. Like today I had, my lunch was, I had a salad and some chicken laid out, but I was like, I need a little carb. So I had the chicken in like a low carb wrap I just wanted, my body just needed a little, there was veggies in the wrap, but it was like I needed, and I listened to my body with that. And that's, I didn't go out and eat like a burger and listen to my body. But again, like you said, it is trusting and like I said, the trusting yourself just applies to
so many other
motherhood, to your career, to that could be a whole tangent. That could be a whole other topic.
But it's such a valid point. So here's the thing that I really want the audience to tune into is like, when you start trusting yourself with this ecosystem, like first and foremost, before you're a mom, before you're a career woman, before you're a partner, before you're a daughter, a sister, anything, this ecosystem, this what we're working with right here, all of this here is where it's at. If you can trust yourself to care for, to love, to enjoy, to embrace this, all of this that is you, this sack that we're born into, that our spirits are housed into, if you can trust yourself with that, you can trust yourself with any other decisions. Then the rest of the decisions become easy, because you're like, if I know what I need, and I know how to give myself what I need, and I know how to put up good boundaries, what I need in terms of eating and exercising and fitness and sleep and all that stuff, then I can do the motherhood thing, because then I'll be listening to not only to them, but to me, and I know how to listen. That is huge, ladies. I cannot like underscore that, but it starts with you, to your point, like being able to tune into you and what you need, and your sleep and your nutrition, knowing I need some carbs. Like, this is a great salad, and if I don't get some carbs in here, it's not going to go well for the rest of the day.
And then dinner was low carb. So
it's not even like, and sometimes, I mean, I know I'm like, I need, I love sugar. Like so sugar is my nemesis. That's usually that. I could probably pass by chips. It's not like that big of a deal. So lately, I used to eat a lot of berries because they're low in sugar. But then I'm like, but here's the thing. If you're struggling with that, you better get you some pineapple, because it's either strawberries and some cookies, or you can just have pineapple and call it a day. And so I'm like, eat the pineapple. It's in season. It's perfect.
Oh, I know, it's so good right now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I've been like living it up. And I don't eat it every night or every day, but when I really want that sweet, especially, it's so refreshing when it's cold and it's hot outside. It's like, so
and that's your best one, and that's perfect.
Yeah, it's satisfying on different levels. It's sweet, and then it's refreshing, and then it's cool. So then it's doing a bunch of different things at the same time, and it's comforting. It's one of my favorite fruits anyway. But that's more nourishing to me, and I'm satiated than if I try to eat around it. And then I'm still not satisfied. And then I'm like, I should have just had the pineapple, because that's what I really wanted. And I'm thinking, no, it's too sugary. But apples, they say, too, are a lot of sugary. But actually, I like apples with peanut butter, most with some type of almond butter or cashew butter or some other type, which usually gives you the kind of the salt and tangy. Really, most of that, if you get it natural, it doesn't have much salt in it at all.
Yeah, I love the natural peanut butter too.
But I do too. But it combats, because apples can be, some of them are really sweet, like they're like super sweet.
Yeah,
but that helps.
A high carb,
and then you get protein with it from the nut butter. So listen, just it's important.
You gotta just do what works too.
So what is there a particular exercise that has you build the most confidence or feel like the strongest, most powerful version of yourself? And I know this is different for everybody, but I'm curious as to what.
I love to do weights. And it's funny because same thing, going back to COVID times, like 2020, I mean, everyone was home and whatever. And I mean, it was a stressful period in my life on top of COVID.
Yes.
But and I didn't realize that I was very small, because right before COVID, I was teaching a lot of group fitness classes. And I wasn't trying to lose the weight, but I was teaching and coaching like 15 plus classes a week. And it was like, I couldn't keep anything on. And so I was really small and I was doing a lot of running. It was kind of a stress relief for me at the time. And it's funny, I mean, since then I probably gained a good 10 pounds, but I love it. It's, it's like, so because surprisingly, it was the one time we went to the right places. You think I was ridiculous. And I was like, this is good. We're going to work with this. So I started doing more weights, and I love strength training. And I teach a class on Thursday nights at a local gym. And I'm always pushing the women, because a lot of these women will have like these little 8-pound dumbbells. And I'm like, what are you doing with that? Like, what are you doing? If these are women I know, I mean, if it's someone who has an injury, I wouldn't push them. But this is a woman who I know
I aspire to 8 pounds. I actually went to my doctor and told him, I was like, you got to help me. I can't get past 8 pounds. He was like, you shouldn't even be lifting 8 pounds. Why are you even trying that? 5 is good. I'm like, no, I think I can get to 10. He was like, are you nuts?
No, we don't want you injuring yourself. And yes, I as a good instructor or coach, yes, I'm only pushing people who I know can handle it.
Yes.
But a lot of women, and again, it's the mindset, like they don't think they can handle the heavy, or which again translates into, I don't think I can handle this on my own, or I can do this. And then like, I've had women tell me after, and they're like, I've never lifted a 25-pound dumbbell. I never lifted a 30-pound, whatever. And they're like, it wasn't that bad. And I'm like, I know it's not that bad, which it just, like you've been saying, it translates out of your fitness life. Like, it's like, okay, I can handle this. I can do this over here. I can do this over here. And it's like, your mind, it's almost like your pathways of your mind get retrained. So yeah, I love to do weights. I love to do weights. I recommend it a lot for people.
Like you said, if you can lift 20 pounds and you never did it before, your mind is going, what else can I do?
What else can I
never done before?
Yeah.
Or if I can lift 20 pounds in a gym, then I can handle this promotion. I know I can. And I didn't think I could before, but now I know that I can. And it makes a huge, and that's why I love it. I like to compete. And this is what I was thinking, we're always competing with other people, but in the fitness arena, I compete with myself. Like, what is my own personal best, and how can I beat my own personal best? So yeah, I'm a strength training person too. I'm having to relook at what that looks like.
You're going to reevaluate it for yourself
and reinvent it. So, and also like, well, if I want to put it back in, how much can I actually, like, I stopped doing it because I was in physical therapy and all this other stuff. And so they were like, you have to really baby step yourself. And as soon as it hurts, like, stop, but so you don't set yourself back. So for me, it's that, well, I get to play with this. Let's make it fun. Could you actually, with free weights, is it better, or is it better with, machines to give you some assistance? Because
or even like those bands or something, like,
or bands, and which works best for which exercises. Bands that do too much with my neck,
that would probably hurt.
Definitely not. Because it pulls in the opposite, it pulls in the wrong direction. But bands on my lower body, but like, they're great. So where can you do what? And it's the playful thing. So I always ask, what makes you feel like super, super powerful? And for you, it's strength training. Now, conversely, what makes you feel super, super feminine?
Probably yoga. I've really never gotten into Pilates. But I do like, and usually after like a week of like teaching and coaching, like usually like on a Friday morning, I'll do some yoga, and like I'll light, I do it at home. Like, I light some candles and just,
you go all out. I love it. Candle.
I'm all about the mood. I treat myself well. And so I just like the stretching after like a hard week of like cardio and weights. It's just kind of nice to, and that does bring you back into your feminine energy. And again, it's trusting yourself. Like, am I burning hundreds of calories doing yoga? No, but mentally and physically, like, it helps me with my other stuff. It helps me to be able to lift the next day, or to be able to do cardio, because you got to stretch out those muscles too. So I feel like yoga is just my bring it all in, kind of bring it back to self type movement.
Yeah, I like yoga, but I haven't done a candlelit.
Which I will light my candles, and like, I like candles for everything. I love candles.
I like candles for lots of things. Journaling.
For
GP. I love candles.
Working at home.
There's an Empower candle here. I have an Energized candle. I have candles. Well, I buy them all the time. So I like it. And I've heard of doing it by candlelight, but I've never done it. And I'm kind of surprised at myself. I haven't done that.
Yeah. Well, maybe, add that in.
You have inspired me. I'm going to try some candlelit yoga. All right. So what's a fitness class that's like out there, leading edge, that you tried, that you were like, all right, this was fun, but not for me? Like,
I tried anything?
Or that you even taught that you were like, I thought I would like teaching it, but this isn't my jam. Like it's.
You know, I like a lot of things, and I have not tried anything that I feel like is super crazy. This is a good workout. I don't love to teach it myself, but TRX, if it's like the bands, you know, like the band, it's a lot of like, it's body weight, but it's a lot of strength. Yeah. It's really tough. It isn't something I love, but people who love TRX love it. It's like the bands, and like you can do a lot of different stuff, and it is very difficult. It's not weight, it's just your body weight. But it's, I mean, because like the bands like hang from a ceiling.
Yeah,
and
so I did try that with the trainer.
Okay.
I did. And now, because my injuries, every time I think of something that even pulls remotely on my neck, like I can feel my body tightening up. So that's actually why I've been doing lately, trying to up the free weights, because I need to build strength to support back there. So when I see that stuff, I'm like,
yeah.
I would love to try. So one, like my bucket list things, like I want to work up to, is I would like to do one aerial yoga class. One. Ooh. I don't know if I can do. I've watched some videos, and it looks really like demanding on your upper body, which then to me,
I would think it would be.
Yeah, but it looks, you know, yoga is what I love about yoga is the meditative aspect, but yoga is actually very precise. A lot of people do yoga and they kind of just do, you know, dog and pray, like, which is not, if you really let yourself do it, it's such a good strength training, elongating if you're really into it. And so I love yoga for that reason. Yeah. And so I think aerial yoga would be even in, you know, like the next level that you would have to be, or else whatever that thing is just going to keep you swinging in a circle. And you'll it's just like, I want to get off. I want to get off.
Yes, I've seen them. Yeah, I've always wanted to try like a pole dancing class or something with that.
Yes, I think I put that up in my group. So I used to take pole dancing all the time. Like actually at one time when so my first journey number one, at the end of that, I was actually really in great shape and I had done a lot of lifting. And if you do not have upper body strength, forget the pole.
It's crazy.
Forget it. And I actually was like curling 20 or 30, and you know, I had trainers and all that. And I took, so they have floor and then they have a pole class. I took the pole. I think the first time I took it, I was in excruciating pain because it's just different. You're curling biceps and triceps. This was all your body, neck, your shoulders, your body holding up, forearms, and it was just, you know, I could shimmy and I could do it. I had the strength to do it, but it was just a whole other set of muscles. And I just remember going, people, you know, this it was an eye opener because they make it look so easy and fluid. And I'm like,
it's so tough.
It was not.
And speaking of that, I did do a class, which was very different. It was very different for me. And it was like, talk about a way to find your inner sexuality. It was a twerk fitness class.
I've heard of those too.
And the music is like stripper music. So you're like, you are doing, and I mean, it was fun, and it definitely brought out a different side. Because I mean, the music you're dancing to is like, it is not like, it's empowering in a certain way.
Right, in a certain way.
And you're like doing all this stuff, and it is like, and the instructor was fantastic. Actually, that I went to high school with, and this is her whole business. It's like twerk fitness, pole dancing, and she's in there like hyping you up like you're a stripper, and you're like, I feel good, but shit. So that was different. It was a lot of fun. It definitely brought out a different side of you.
Yes, I've heard of those. I've never been to a twerking class. Pole I've done. The floor stripper version, like they'll have floor and then they have pole and then they have tips, tricks, and pole and spin. You know, I've taken a couple of those. And I even had the shoes because I was really into it at one time, which adds a whole other dimension to it. And so they're super fun, but you know, the twerking, I've never done that, but I have seen snippets of these classes and I'm like, oh, my back, you know, as you become a person, as you become a different level of experience, I start thinking, can my knees take those platforms?
It's a lot. I mean, you were like, good Lord. It was like a new respect for strippers. My thighs were on fire because you're in this like crouch position. I mean, my thighs
constantly.
were on fire.
When they teach you those moves, crazy legs and all kinds of stuff they're teaching you, I kid you not, I had a newfound the level of fitness that it requires for these, and it's a completely different muscle. It looks like quads and hamstrings, but it's all these little tiny muscles that are also around your hips and whatnot, because the way you have to move your body. So it's a great workout, definitely a way to get you in touch with your inner sensuality.
It definitely is. If you need it,
I think it's so much fun.
And this lady's great. I mean, the music will make you feel like you could just turn up.
I wish she was here in DC. Now I'm going to be like,
I know. And actually, she's in Alabama, which is interesting. It's a very unique area to be in, but she does very well because it's something unique there.
Yeah, I would
guess in Alabama want to feel sexual too.
Who would think Alabama of all places? Oh my God. You'd think like for more urban areas. Yeah, okay, makes sense. Big
I guess it's Birmingham. So I guess Birmingham is, urban for Alabama. But hey.
Yeah, that would not be the place that I would have.
People want to feel sexy everywhere. People are trying to reclaim that sexy everywhere.
People want to claim their sexy anywhere and everywhere, and it is definitely about doing that. So, we will definitely have to have you come back on again. I mean, like I could keep talking about fitness because I love it. It's one of my favorite jams. I think when in any time that you're feeling stuck or you know, just like you need to be in touch with something in your life, if you're not even sure what that is, if you get physical, you immediately get connected to a part of yourself that you may not have been in touch with or need to be in touch with, and just need a mechanism to get there. And it is so empowering to do that.
Yes, so much so.
Yes. All right. So we have some rapid fire questions that I'm going to ask. All right.
I'm ready.
All right. So what is bringing you joy right now?
Oh my gosh, what's bringing me joy? Honestly, my relationship with my children is just, you know, sometimes like it just kind of all clicks, and it's like we're just getting on great. Even my oldest, who's like, you know, 12 and hormonal, like we're getting along great, and I just have been feeling like I'm feeling good about this motherhood thing. And it's just been our relationship has been bringing me joy with my kids. So
that's awesome.
Motherhood relationship with my kids has been bringing me joy.
Awesome. All right. So one of the things I say is we make fiercely feminine decisions, and sometimes we make desperate decisions. So what was your last fiercely feminine decision? And then contrast it. What was your last desperate decision?
Oh my God. Fiercely feminine? You know, I guess this past weekend, I just kind of flowed. Like, and usually I'm a planner, like I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And I just was like, you know what, wherever the day takes me. Like I went to this African festival, I listened to some music, I treated myself to dinner, and it was just kind of like, I just flowed with the day. Went by to see a girlfriend. And because she even was like, you're not like, you're just hanging. I was like, I'm just doing whatever I feel. Because it was so different for me.
That is honoring your feminine, like really, again, the practice of trusting yourself.
Whatever felt good in the moment.
You know, I'm going to be good to me, and whatever feels good, that's what I'm going to give myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Awesome. And then when was your last desperate decision? We all make them when we're in, especially when our back is up against the wall.
Oh my gosh. I was trying to think. I'm like, what was my last desperate decision? Oh, I'm trying to think.
My last, I can tell you what one of mine was. I think I ate like it wasn't a bear claw. It was, what was it, like an almond croissant? But I ate like 2 of them, and I was never going to get them again. I even remember, I was like, this isn't even good. And I'm like, why are you eating? Like, I had to really be like, okay, that's it. We're done with these. You're off these.
Yeah. Probably, I mean, if I think about like that, I did some late night chicken wing eating the other week. It was like 10:30, 11, which is again out of character, but you pick the next day. Next day you wake up feeling heavy. In the moment they did taste good, but the next morning it was like, yeah, you're too old and this stuff is too heavy for you to be eating. It was late night eating, late night staying up. Didn't need to do all that.
Yeah. It was one of those. Yeah, this reeks of trying to reclaim something that I don't even want to reclaim. Like exactly. I'm not even trying to reclaim whatever's on the other side of this pastry, but here I am. Yes, eating it like it's the last one I will ever have the opportunity to eat. Like why would you? And I have to remind myself of that one of my favorite fitness and health tricks is you can have it, not today. It's not that you can't have it ever, but like, it's not on your, like I try to eat very intentional. I was like, it's not on your intentional plan. You didn't plan for it. You didn't, like, and there's days I'm totally in flow. And there's other days like, you plan to have whatever you want to have and you can do that. And that's really great. So that I don't just kind of plan to have whatever I want to have every single day. And I go crazy with the sweets. And I was like, just don't do that to yourself. You get to have it anytime you want. And since you can have it anytime, is that what you're really wanting right now?
Tune in.
Most of the time, it's totally not.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's like, I think I'm sleepy, or I think I'm sleepy is a big one, or I think I need some time with my daughter, or I think I just need to walk. Just tuning in with that. So, All right. What was the last thing you indulged yourself with, but just the pure pleasure of it?
Oh my gosh, I feel like I do this often.
That's great.
I mean, it's nothing big. I had like a mani-pedi recently, and it just was like, I didn't really need it. It's just something I was like, why not? I deserve it. I'm going to do this. So that was something I probably indulged myself with.
That's awesome. So what's next for you in your coaching? Like, what do you got going on? Share with us what's next for you in your coaching life, with your coaching practice. Are you expanding? Are you taking clients? Like, what's happening with you?
Yeah, so I'm wrapping up. I do like a group program, which is called Reclaim, and we're actually wrapping that up. I'll be launching that again, either August or September.
Okay.
So that's my group coaching program. I do also one-on-one coaching. It's a 12-week program. It's called EvolveU. And I do have spots open for that for, I guess it is still June. Yeah, for this summer, for June and July.
Awesome. Yeah. And is there any link or anything you want to drop, or what are your handles? Is there any?
I am most active on Instagram.
Yes.
And my Instagram is Evolve with Valencia. Yes. So you can find me there, and I'm always posting a lot of my stuff there too.
Awesome. And so we will post all of your handles and everything in the group. I will do a post about that. And if there's any discount coupons or free offer, if you have a booklet or whatever you want to drop, we'll drop that in the group.
Okay. Too. Fantastic.
Yes. And as always, it has been a pleasure speaking with you. We will definitely have to have.
Yes, this was so fun. Thank you so much.
I am inclined to have you do a candlelight yoga segment and talk from it. I'm serious. Like, I really think I've never done one. I think it's great to kind of like just set up and just do a couple warrior series for like 5 or 10 minutes and then like kind of talk from there. I think that would be like fantastic.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can.
Cool.
Well, I'll see if I can enroll you in doing that. Otherwise, you can come back and we can talk about anything. I always
there's so many.
Dive in the nutrition piece. I know for some of us that's like the biggest struggle, and I know for a lot of health and well-being, like nutrition is like one of the biggest, if not the biggest thing about weight loss that people tend to step over. They know they need to do it, but it's one of those basics that people just step over. And and in fact, doing it the way you said it, just trying to go for a calorie deficit just could mean literally looking. And somebody told me that she couldn't figure out what was going on with her diet. Turned to find out she eats a bowl and a half of cereal every night. She took it out and she dropped like 10 pounds in like
and usually it's something that it's not these major things. Like it's not like I said, like let's skip a meal. Like it's nothing. It's just little. It's kind of like if you were like driving a car and you were heading this way, you're going to be off track. Just a little direction, and then you're going the right way.
Yeah, just
a little steer it the right way.
Little lean in that way. Yeah. So I love that approach. It's not, for so many people, it's so harsh and so the rigor of it is off-putting. because you can't maintain that as a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And you want to pick something that aligns with who you are as a person, or else it's just not sustainable. And I would love to have you back to talk about that, because so many people do these crash things, and then they end up gaining the weight back or being frustrated because they didn't create sustainability in it to begin with. So yeah, definitely. Well, it has been a pleasure having you on here. I thank you so much for being here with me. We really appreciate having you here. We will see you around the super highways. Look for more tags and information from me, and I hope we get to connect again soon. And thank you all for being here, and have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
I think to myself, what a wonderful world.